We're back out here in the garage tonight with the Blue Hussy, as my lovely girlfriend affectionately calls it. Something about spending more time with it than her. I don't know. Anyway, kind of doing a little follow-up on the R1 Industries tender springs we installed there a couple weeks ago. Been on a couple trail rides, got 65, 70 miles on them since then. Are working terrifically. I set the preload back to what my factory preload was with the Polaris springs. I did gain 2.5 inches in ride height. That was not necessarily my intent. I was more concerned about putting a little bit of the ride back into the machine that had lost through the collapse of the Polaris springs. A couple things that I did kind of find interesting. I knew my Polaris springs had collapsed, but I have noticed that they completely collapsed to the point that each and every individual coil has actually rubbed the finish completely off where they were hitting each other. So they had actually no spring left to them at all. A little closer look of the R1 Industry spring on the machine. The machine is sitting here with the full weight on the spring. First thing that jumps out at you if you compare it to the Polaris spring is the material of the spring itself is a much larger diameter. The thing that also I notice is if I put the Polaris spring up against it, the R1 Industry spring is actually about 1/8 of an inch longer under the weight of the machine, with the Polaris spring having no weight on it whatsoever. At this point, I would definitely recommend the R1 Industry springs. I honestly can't give you a comparison to them to other springs that are on the market, as I don't have any experience with those. The R1 Industry springs have done exactly what I wanted to do. They put the ride back into the machine. The added benefit is the added ride height. I'm very impressed with them so far. Come back here in a couple, 3 months, and we'll do another quick follow-up on the longevity of them. I have had a couple people ask what spring compressors I used during the process. I simply ordered a set like this. They work great. The only recommendation I would give you is I did cover the jaws of them with some just like blue painter's tape, so they didn't scratch the powder coat off the springs. Other than that, very simple installation. Great product. I'm extremely impressed so far. Get back here in a couple, 3 months, and we'll do another little quick follow-up, see how the longevity of the springs last during that length of time.